Hola my friends, happy Cinco de Mayo. This is Mary Beth Eversole, allergy actress, and today I am bringing you an amazing recipe that normally I wouldn't be able to do because of my allergy to corn, but I have found a go-around. We're going to make enchiladas today, lentil vegetable enchiladas to be exact, and vegan and corn-free, and I'm so excited. So, without further ado, let's get to the ingredients. So there are 3 different elements to this whole recipe. There's the enchiladas themselves, the enchilada sauce, and the vegan cheese sauce that goes on top of the enchiladas at the end. So first for the enchiladas, we'll start with the ingredients for that. So you need obviously tortillas. Now these are potato flour tortillas that I purchased from my local allergy-friendly grocery store. You can make your tortillas or you can purchase them. I can do rice, brown rice tortillas, and then I can do potato flour tortillas. I found that these tend to be more malleable and useful for this kind of a thing, whereas the brown rice flour ones are a little bit more stiff. Okay, so then we go over here and we have 2 colorful bell peppers. I used red and yellow, and then half of a green bell pepper. And then you're going to do a small red onion, and by the way, the peppers are diced, so is the red onion. And then 3 cups of cooked lentils. Now that's more than 3 cups, but I'm going to use lentils for something else, so I just went ahead and made them all together. Then you need 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 1 teaspoon of cumin. There is our cumin right there. And then you're going to need 2 teaspoons of chili powder. And then you're going to need salt and pepper to taste. And then, of course, the vegan shredded cheddar cheese. Now, there's several different varieties of that, so use the one that you like the best. You can also, well, I can also use shredded goat cheese, cheddar goat cheese, or Gouda goat cheese, but again, today I'm going vegan. Okay, so then for the enchilada sauce, you need 3 cups of tomato sauce, and you need 2 teaspoons of chili powder. You need 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. You need 1 teaspoon of oregano. I'm choosing to use Mexican oregano because it's an enchilada. You need half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and again, salt and pepper to taste for that sauce. The last element is the cheese sauce. For that, you need 2 medium potatoes, diced, peeled and chopped, and chopped into little squares. And then you need 3 large carrots. Where are the carrots? Peeled and chopped, also cut into squares. You need half a cup of nutritional yeast. Again, you can find that at your local allergy-friendly grocery store. And then you're going to need 1/3 of a cup of that extra virgin olive oil. And then you need 1/3 of a cup of water. You need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1½ teaspoons of sea salt. And then 1 4-ounce can of diced green chilies, or you can also use jalapenos. But I prefer chilies, so that's what I did. That's your ingredients. Let's get to the main event. If you're new to this recipe, you don't have to do everything all at once. You can do it one step at a time. Look below because I write the recipe out in the comments, so look for that. But I'm doing multiple things at once. So I have the sauce on heating on low, and that is everything mixed together. It's the tomato sauce, and it's like the garlic powder, the cumin, the chili powder, the Mexican oregano, the salt, the pepper, all the spices, and the tomato sauce all in one. Mix it in. There you go. Sit it on low, only till it heats through, then turn the heat off. Okay? Over here, I've got the carrots and the potatoes steaming for 7 to 10 minutes until they are tender. And then here, we are going to do the peppers and the onions. So also, I wanted to make sure that you know to prepare a pan like this for enchiladas. Make sure that you grease it a little bit. And I wanted to share something about my allergies. I'm allergic to soy, as you all know, and that includes soy lecithin, which happens to be found in most spray grease things. So like anything you would spray for baking, yeah, has soy lecithin in it, unfortunately. So I make my own little sprayer, and I put olive oil in it. So you're going to lightly grease your pan. You can also just pour it in there, but you know, whatever. I like doing the little spray thing. And then you're going to turn on your heat. medium high. We're going to wait just a minute or so for this to heat up, and that gives me a great chance to talk about Cinco de Mayo. You know what? The history of Cinco de Mayo surprised me. I was looking it up, and first of all, the original date happened during the Franco-Mexican War, or French-Mexican War, and it was to commemorate the day that the Mexicans beat the French, and the whole history of that is back in the 1850s, 60s, Mexico had become independent a few years before that, and then the president around that time in the 1850s, 1860s said, you know, we can't pay our debts to other countries. I'm sorry, we don't have enough money, and that really made France angry. So they were like, well, we'll just come take your land, and so they showed up on Cinco de Mayo, and expecting with this big army, and they were expecting to just plow through them, and there was this ragtag army of Mexican soldiers that defended their land and won. And it became a day of like, yeah, we stood up to the imperialism, and so that's what it was for a long time. Oh, and by the way, that happened in where did it happen? Puebla. Thank you. That happened in the state of Puebla, and it was like, yikes, you know, like, wow, we didn't expect these people to win, but they did, and it was really cool. So then it never became a national holiday in Mexico. The president came back into power after that happened, and by the way, I'm putting peppers and onions in here. You're gonna cook these until they soften, so like for 5 to 7 minutes. Make sure that you stir it. Excuse me. So, anyway, back to Mexico. Okay, I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. So, at the end of that war, towards the end of that war, the U.S. came in and aided Mexico in beating France, and France ended up leaving the country. Hurrah! And so then the U.S. and Mexico were like buddies and friends, and like a bunch of Mexican people moved up into the U.S. and carried that tradition of celebrating Cinco de Mayo with them. And it actually became a much bigger holiday in the U.S. than it is in Mexico. It is celebrated still in Puebla and in a few other places, but it's much bigger here in the United States. Nowadays, it's really meant to just commemorate Mexican culture, and it's a day, you know, where everybody has parades, and they have like speeches, and there's good food, and there's margaritas, and which I can't have, hoo-hoo. Yeah, so there you go, that's Cinco de Mayo. Pretty cool. So, alright, this is all stirred. So, okay, you want to keep occasionally stirring it as it goes through its 5 to 7 minutes of cooking. It's a little hot, so I'm going to bring it down. Oh, and by the way, the sauce is done. It's heated through, so I'm going to turn the heat off with the sauce. I'm going to get a spoon. So when the sauce is done, you just wait, you just let it sit there until you're ready to do the pouring it on top of the enchiladas. One more step before we start folding in our tortillas. So we have to add our lentils, hello, and we also have to add our spices. In the meantime, I'm going to add 3 cups of lentils to this. So 1, 2, it doesn't need to be exact, this is lentils, not flour, 3. And then we need our spices. So again, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and then salt and pepper to taste. So, salt, pepper. Okay, let it heat through, and then we are going to prepare our tortillas. Yay! By the way, just another couple minutes on the potatoes and carrots. Okay, guys. Now comes the fun part. We get to fill up the tortillas. Okay, so you just literally take the filling and put it in. I wouldn't do very much, but you know, enough where when you roll it up, you can do it tight, and then you want to do it filling side down, like that. FYI, I hate to say it, but most of my tortillas that I work with, because of what they use for the flours, tend to crack or break. So, but you know what? It still tastes just as good. So, there. I filled the pan. I was able to put 9 in there, so you can do 9 tortillas this size if you have a pan that is this size. I think this is a 9 by 13. So, so then what you do after that is you take the, ouchie, that's a really hot pan. You take the pan of sauce and you pour it all. It goes over, all of it goes over. And you try to do, I'll do 3 little swipes here, and then just like all over, and I'll use a spoon to spread it out. Oh my gosh, it smells so good! I wish we had smell-o-vision. Ah. So, yeah, so you do that, then you take a spoon, and you, ooh, spoon is hot too, you guys, man. Hot spoon, okay, it was sitting on the oven. So then you just spread it evenly over all of the lovely tortillas. And make it look pretty if you want. Oh, so pretty. Okay. And then you sprinkle even more cheese on top. So, sprinkle. Remember, you're going to be doing nacho cheese on top of this. Like the cheese sauce. So you don't have to like overload with cheese right now. There, sprinkled with cheese. Okay, so these are ready to be popped in the oven. They will go in the oven at 375 for 30 minutes. What kind of cheese isn't your cheese? Nacho cheese! So, what we need to do is get a mitt, a warm mitt, so that I don't burn myself like I have 3 times today already. And then you're going to bring over the carrots and the potatoes that we've been softening with our steam. And you're going to put every ingredient in your blender, except, or food processor, whichever one you prefer, except for the green chilies. Those get stirred in after everything else. So everything goes in. Scooping the potatoes. So first I'm going to grind these down just a bit because there's a lot of them. So, pulse. So now that that's ground down a little bit, ooh, that looks good. Okay, half a cup of the nutritional yeast. And then you want to have your it's a tablespoon of lemon juice. Wow. And you're going to do extra virgin olive oil. Where are you? There you are. Then you put 1/3 of a cup of water. And then you're going to put 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then the green chilies, save out. Save them until we're done mixing all of this. Pulse. And there you have it. Voila! Okay, and then chilies go in the top. And they say to stir it in because they can get, I don't know, pulverized? Who knows? I don't know. So we will do that. Ta-da! So it's best if you put the cheese sauce over the top when it's still warm. So we're doing it. Okay. I think that's plenty. That's a lot of cheese sauce. And there's a lot left over, which is awesome. So, we might do a little bit more. Hold on. A little bit more. There. Okay. We do. Alright. Plus, you can't really feel guilty about this cheese sauce because, hello, it's like potatoes and carrots. So, there's a little bit of oil in there, but it's olive oil. What's wrong with olive oil? Nothing. Olive oil is great. Okay, so then it's like basically like that. By the way, you can use this cheese dip, this nacho cheese dip. You can use it just for chips. Well, not tortilla chips for me, but I can do bean chips that look like tortilla chips, and they're super tasty. Found at your local allergy-friendly grocery store. And yeah, just dip. Ah, yum. Okay, so now to taste. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so good. Like, oh my gosh. Okay. Well, there you have it. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I hope you enjoy these enchiladas. This is Mary Beth Eversole, allergy actress, signing off.